Hi, in today's video I'm going to give you a quick introduction into cryptocurrency mining and where we're at in the state of things going into the back end of 2018 as we are. Hi, okay, so this is a quick video today just giving you a brief run through of what it's like to be a crypto miner and how we make choices about what to mine. So I'm at CoinMarketCap and you can see this is one of the places people come to find out how each currency is doing and what prices they're at and whether it might be profitable to mine them. So CoinMarketCap's one place, CoinPuffs is another, very similar. Lists the coins, what the current prices are, whether they're going up or down in price. And then if you want news to see what's going to affect the macro environment or maybe swing a certain crypto one way or the other, you can go somewhere like Crypto Yum and then find out the news about your favorite coin of the day. So this is a way to go have a quick look around, find out what's profitable, what things are moving up or down, and if you're someone who likes to react to the news or be ahead of the game and make some money when news happens, then this is the sort of thing that you might be looking at the start of your day. When it comes to mining in particular, a lot of people come to this site, whattomine.com. Depending on what type of hardware you've got and what type of thing you're looking to mine, this will give you some steer on that. As a GPU miner, I can direct my mining rigs to any algorithm that my GPUs support, which is most of them. The Bitcoin algorithm is a special one. So to mine Bitcoin, you either have to mine another way and get paid in Bitcoin, which is what this nice hash number is about, or you need an ASIC, an application-specific integrated circuit, which is designed to mine that particular the Bitcoin or other algorithm in particular. So companies like Bitmain focus on this type of technology, so you can go to Bitmain and buy a Bitcoin miner. The problem with this type of technology is that once it's not good for that particular algorithm, it's then not good for anything. So it becomes a paperweight or a doorstop. So you can go and buy hardware that's focused on a particular algorithm. It just means it might be slightly more profitable in the beginning, although that's not always the case either. But it means you can't then repurpose it for something else. So what most beginning miners do, at least, is focus on gaming graphics cards. So something like the GTX 1080 Ti. And you can buy those from a lot of places. They're quite readily available at the moment. They did dry up a bit last year when crypto was really popular and mining was profitable. There was a global shortage. But right now, you can get hold of these things quite easily. So depending on whether you've already got hardware or you're thinking of buying hardware, you might want to understand what's a good thing to point your hardware at. There are different types of hardware as well, so there are a lot of little nuances to this. Fundamentally, there are two main companies, AMD and NVIDIA, who make mining hardware, as far as GPUs are concerned. And so the NVIDIAs tend to use less power and prefer certain types of algorithm, and the AMDs slightly more power hungry, but in some cases more powerful at some of the algorithms. So I tend to mine Ethereum, and I've got a split probably 50-50 of AMDs versus NVIDIA GPUs. Some people pick one. These days, if power consumption is an issue for you or you're paying a lot for power, then it might be that your most logical thing to do is look for what is the best hash rate you can get from a GPU at the absolute lowest power. And it might be that you choose an NVIDIA card, and it might be better at mining a particular algorithm, not so good as an AMD, a different one. But if you choose an algorithm that suits the type of hardware you've got, then you might find a particular balance one way or the other suits you better. So how much power these things take really makes or breaks whether they're going to be profitable for you. This is why a lot of places have mining facilities in Canada and Iceland. Iceland's a particularly favourite one because they've got geothermal energy and the place is cold, so you can keep the equipment cool easily and the electricity is cheap to run them. So these are the dynamics that we're looking at. One of the other things that's worth mentioning, as well as like how much the profitability of a miner is impacted by the power, is where that crypto is on its difficulty. So when I got into crypto the most recent time, a couple of years ago, the difficulty for Ethereum was really low. And so you could buy almost any decent gaming card and build a rig of those and it would be nicely profitable. Obviously since then, 2017 saw a massive rise in the difficulty as people jumped on. Ethereum was designed to move away from this type of mining, proof of work mining, where you apply this hardware to solving calculations, and over to something called proof of stake, where you are putting up some of your crypto as a stake and being rewarded for keeping it in there. And so what this meant was, by design, the difficulty of the calculations the hardware had to do was always going to increase to the point where that model was flipped over to proof of stake. What actually happened, and you can see in the difficulty chart here, it rose really quickly. They sort of set the time bomb off for the mining of Ethereum and the difficulty shot up really quickly. But then the move to proof of stake wasn't actually ready to happen at the time that it was originally planned. So they dialed back the difficulty. So overnight, the difficulty dropped right back down again and stabilized for a little while. And then since then it's been going up. So knowing where you are in this cycle of the crypto and its planned expected difficulty changes, that's a really useful thing to know. A lot of people don't really look at this. They just look at what's the hardware, what can it mine right now, how much hashing power has it got, and what's the price. But actually, if you know you're early on here and the difficulty is not going to rise by its nature, but only by people throwing lots of hardware at it, then you can quite often get in early on a crypto, mine yourself a fistful of it, and then just go off and mine something else and just leave that. If you jump in late in the day like this, where every man and his dog's mining it, there's specialized ASICs out for mining it, and it's almost nearing the point where it's going to move away from hardware mining, then you're limiting your options quite a lot, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to make your money back for the hardware as well as make any profit. So that's it really. Depending on whether you're buying gaming video cards or a specific bit of hardware for the type of algorithm you want to focus on, you can easily find out roughly how much profit you can make. And again, it will be massively dependent on how much power you're using and how much you pay for your power. So that's a big dynamic. It sort of makes or breaks the model for everyone. And on a daily basis, you can just come to what to mine, see what it says for the hash power that you've given it for the type of algorithm you're mining, see what it says would be your daily profit. A lot of people do that. I'm sort of more of a long-term miner, so I don't really care so much about how things are changing day to day. But if you did care about that and you maximized what your equipment was doing every day, then you can squeeze a bit of extra juice out of the profit that way. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a bit of an introduction, and I'll cover a lot more other things and some more technical detail and go into the mining a little bit more heavily another time, show you some mining equipment. I'll maybe do a refurbishment of a GPU, strip it down, clean it up, get it working better, show you how to optimize them and overclock them. So if that's something you're interested in, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.